Today's class will discuss about HTTP sessions. HTTP session is an interface HTTP session is interface. It is the responsibility of the web container to manage one HTTP session object for every client. That is used to across the web application. I have a web application running in my laptop. I have browser 1. I have browser 2. I have browser 3. Please take the diagram. Send a request like /1 dot or 1 dot HTML. There will be something here. Here again /1 dot HTML. The same browser, same request I'm sending it. If you start file process, if you start file process using Internet Explorer, on a single machine, every copy will be treated as a different client. It is the responsibility of the web container to create a session object on behalf of a client. There will be an ID for each session object created by the web container. A developer can assume that there will be 100 session objects in the container. There are 100 browsers accessing the web application. As part of the servlets, to get a session object, we can use I'm creating the servlet object here. Right click here, create a new servlet. I'm copying the service method. Yeah. As part of the servlets, to get a session object, we can use request dot get session true or false. These are the two ways we can create the session object. When a servlet calls request.getSession true, the web container creates a new session object when there is no session object on the behalf of the browser that has sent the request. When a servlet calls request.getSession true, the web container creates a new session object when there is no session object on behalf of the browser that has sent the request. If the session object is already available, the web container returns existing, that means inside the bracket, old session object. Next point, if the servlet calls request.getSession are false, the container returns null. If there is no session object for the client, the container returns null. If there is no session object, for the client that has sent the request. Next point, if the session object is available, the container returns the existing session object. Now we will see how effectively we will use session object. I have a form here. This is the form. Name, first name, last name, email, mobile address. If I click on submit button, I should save the data in the session object. From this session, I should call the from that session object. I should pass into my different one more servlet by using request dispatcher. Okay, this is my requirement. Request.get parameter of temp name, temp ref name, MPL name, temp email, temp mobile, temp address. Name, file name, email, mobile address. I'm creating the session object here. Session dot set attribute method is there. Inside this, I am going to set yes name. The value will be name. I think we already covered the similar concept inside the request scope, right? Suguna, Teju, Pavani was not there in the class. Suguna, Teju.
Yes, Chaitanya.
Yes. You are familiar with that concept? Request scope. Teju, are you? So name I'm setting as yes name. F name I'm setting as yes F name.
Yeah. It will replace old objects with new objects, right?
No. I'm setting the session. I'm setting the values into the session. Last time we set the values into the request scope.
Oh, okay.
We're sitting here and we are accessing by using the same objects in the different select object.
Okay.
Practice.
Yeah.
If you practice, it will come out automatically. Now, how to get the request dispatcher object? I want to store these values. I want to pass these values into the different servlet. From there, I want to store the data. Hello. How to get the request dispatcher object?
From servlet config. Context from servlet context dot request dispatcher.
No use of taking the classes.
Servlet context. Yeah. Servlet context. Context dot get request dispatcher.
Can you hold on 1 second? So the control will come to here, the S2 object. I get S2 object here. So in the S2 object, I should access by using session equal to request dot request dot get session. False. From the session get attribute So what is the value we set there? S1, right? S name, right?
Yes, Chaitanya. Yes, name.
Yes name. So what is the return type for this? It should be string, right?
Yes.
String name. So we're converting the get attribute of get attribute name method is return type is we can cache the string object. So what is the S name, F name, and
L
yes,
name.
oh,
L name change. You need to change here.
L name. This is very important example. Please concentrate. Mobile address. Okay. So once we have this data, so I want to store the data. So already we have a logic here where we can store the data in database. I'm going to copy this logic. I'm going to insert into the database. Everything is same, right? No need to worry for that. Hmm? Name, F name, L name, email, everything. Mobile is same, address is same. Same. By the request dispatcher object, okay. I'm copying the by again request dispatcher object here. I'll show you something here. If greater than 0, else HTML. This is inner object. So this is local variable, number of rows, and create the instance variable. Okay. Create a success HTML file. I want to get the data. How to get the data? Okay, you can just send a message successfully registered. Can someone spell it fastly? I'm creating again one more object called as payload.html. Okay. Can someone explain the output quickly? Hello. Can someone explain me the output? Explain me the code flow. When when the application send a request, right? I'm going to make it as a welcome file. This is when you deploy our application, automatically it will deploy. This is S1 object, this is S2 object slash S1 slash S2. Okay. I'm deploying the application. For that I need to set the jar file. Before that, database jar file. Right click and run the application. Click on finish button. I want to see whether Oracle is running or not. Not running. What is the problem with Tom Start? I'm running the application now. So automatically once you launch the application by using we configured as your web.xml file as a welcome file list as your index.html, right? So automatically this page came into the picture. Now let's see how it goes. Pavani, first name. I'm inserting the data here. If you click on submit button, either this data will be inserted into the database successfully, and also should display a message called as success message. There is a problem with the input data. What is the input data here? Why input data came into the picture? Input data. Okay. Here it should start with the S1. Now deploy the application. Redeploy the application. Remove it. Redeploy the application. Enter. Enter. On. Submit button. Failed register. Okay. Now we'll see what is the issue. Connection refused description. So and so. Database is not up and running. Right click on here. Make a services up and running. Oracle service agent start. Now see here automatically failed register came right. If I send a request, that means whatever the data internal the code flow will start from here. Whenever we deploy the application, web content is responsible to check web.xml file. What is the action tag? If you click on submit button, in web.xml file, it will check is there any XML file or HTML file is configured as a welcome file list name. It will go to the welcome file list name index.html file. Then it will open index.html file. Then it will look for any other action tag is configured. Okay, configured. Then it will look for submit button. Once you click on submit button, it will look for this action tag. Okay, from this action tag, take the action value and go to search for web.xml and web.xml file and find out whether this action tag is mapped with which servlet. So it mapped with S1 servlet. Then S1 again it will mapped with S1 servlet. So S1 went, the code flow went to S1. So here I am capturing all the data by using request get parameter. I am putting in the string name here. So that name again I am putting as a session object. I am creating session object by using session HTTP request get session true. HTTP session equal to request get session true. So session I am creating here, name, fname, lname, email, mobile, address. So session that my data everything will be there in the session object. So again I am passing from here by creating the get servlet context method. I'm creating the request dispatcher object. I'm creating request from request dispatcher. I'm calling the S2 object by using forward method. So control will go to S2 object. Now S2 servlet will be open. Here again I am loading the data from the session. by using get attribute, session.get attribute, s1, s-fname, s-lname, s-email, s-mobile, s-address. So I'm putting into the string object. Again, that string object I'm inserting data into database by using prepare statement. Here, string s1, fname, lname, email, mobile, and address. Okay. Now I am committing the data. Once it execute update, number of rows will be 1 or 2. If it is executed, number of will be 1. Then if it is 0, then only 1 greater than 0. Then that means it will display success.html. That means if it is written 1, then it 1 greater than 0, right? It will execute this one. Else it will execute this one. If it is executed, this one means failure.html file. The output will go to failure.html file and display the output of failed register. That's how we are getting issue. Now, got it right? Now, if you run the application, what will happen? Pavani, why Pavani inserting not inserting data? I don't know. What Pavani? What happened? Troubling. Now, if you click on submit button, we'll go and see registered successfully. Connect with the database. System. Password. Exit. Exit. Or the table we are using here. Why S2 null point except we are getting it here? Line number 40. Okay, got it. Okay, we'll see. First of all, data is there in the database.
EMP.
What happened?
System.
Data is there, right?
Yes.
When to use session scope? When to use session scope? When the servlet has to use any Java object, when the servlet has to use any Java object, that is specific to the client for processing that is specific to the client for processing multiple requests, then we must store the Java object in session object. How the session objects, next question, how the session objects are managed by the web container? Session objects are managed by using two techniques. By using cookies, by using URL rewriting technique. When the container creates a session object, it will send a cookie to the browser with the name of, we'll see how to use cookies. When the container creates a session object, it will send a cookie to the browser with the name of JSession ID. This is very important. And the value of this cookie is the ID of the session object. After this, every time a request is sent by the browser, it will send back the cookie JSession ID to the server. The server uses the value of the cookie for identifying the for identifying the session object created on behalf of the browser. Whenever you send a request from the browser, right? If you're using cookies, internally they will send a separate. They will assign this browser ID. Web content will create a session ID. That is name is called JSession ID, and it will assign to browser. That means whenever employee join, we will give a employee tag, right? Based on employee tag only, we can allow the company. Same thing here. If this ID is there, you can directly send a request, and you can get the response. So this is called browser one. Browser one. Browser two. Session of browser one. Session of browser two. Next question. When the session object is removed, when we close the browser, important question. When the session object is removed, when we close the browser, when you close the browser, the browser loses the session ID. Sorry, the browser loses the JSession ID cookie. Suppose when you close the browser, right? Suppose I am close the browser. I close the browser. So automatically this session ID will be loser. Browser will be lose this session ID. But okay, this session ID browser will lose. But the server will not be knows that user has closed the browser. User has closed the browser. The server will not be able to remove the next point. The server will not be able to remove the session object When we close the browser, the scenario you see now, I think you might have had experience when you are opening the Gmail. Okay, this is application consider. I send a request to my Gmail server. So Gmail as the server has given web container has given one ID for me. So that ID is this one. Consider. By mistake, I close the browser. That means this ID is lost for me. But I don't know. Gmail server is located somewhere, right? Gmail server don't know. Oh, Chaitanya, there are many thousands of users are there for that. Chaitanya closed the browser by mistakenly. But if I open it again, my browser, it will be there. One second. It will be there automatically. Now, if I open the browser of IE, Internet Explorer, or any other browser, if we copy paste the same link, it is logging to different data, because this is I already closed like this. So let me log out everywhere and retest it again. I'm logging out from here. I'm closing it. So this is called a different account. This is okay. I'm closing the browser. Okay, I'm opening the browser. This same data Gmail will be there like this one. One second. Okay. Now if I open Internet Explorer, different browser. If I copy the same link and paste it here, it is not opening it. Why? Because this session ID is not there. Even though this session ID is not there, we logged out the application. Okay, and this session ID is available for this browser. That means web content will maintain, will create a session ID, JSession ID for each browser for their application. So 9B5 match, then only it will able to access. If it is 9B5 and EB8, so each and every browser will different IDs. So it is not matching, so you are not able to access it. This is called as session object internally. Internal session they are using like this. Understand? Hello?
Yes, Chaitanya.
Yeah.
Yes, Chaitanya.
Yeah. Good. This practical example. Okay. Now, as part of the servlet, we can provide the code. We can provide the code. We can provide the code session dot invalidate method to remove the session object. You can use invalidate method. So for clear, how to remove the session. So we can, by using invalid method, I can remove it. The web container keeps track when the session object was last used. If session object is not used for a time period, I have an account with IRCTC. Everybody know IRCTC, right? Pavani, Suguna, Pavani. Everybody know IRCTC, right? Site.
Yes, yes, yes.
I am going tomorrow my hometown. I will be not available 1 week. I am poor guy. I want to go with the sleeper. Okay. This is the session I logged in. Okay. This is the session I logged in what? 7:55 a.m. IST. Now, the web container keeps track of when the session object was last used. If session object is not used for the time period, if the session object is not used for the time period, called as session timeout. Or max inactive internal time. Max inactive internal interval the session object will be removed by the browser. If I say here s1 dot s1 dot max set max inactive interval 30 minutes, that means my data will be available in session 30 minutes only. So like this, if I log in the application, after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, after 5 minutes, I won't use this application. I won't touch at all. Should not touch anything. You should not click anywhere. Then automatically session will be inactive. That will cause us two issues. One, we set as a set maximum inactive interval as a 5 minutes in the internal application. Or 1 second. Why? We can test in one application, right? 1 minute. Remove and run the application. Oh, cannot do it because we are continuously flowing the application, right? S1 to S2, S2 to failure success HTML. So we'll see in irctc.com. The default value of the max inactive interval is 30 minutes. If you sometimes you may be opening the website, sometimes you may be opening the Gmails, right? If you want to use 30 minutes, if you click on the inbox button, if you click on some of the videos, automatically session will expire and it will open to login page, right? Correct me.
Yes, you can.
Yes, that is called
Yes.
as we are setting internally inactive interval time at the back end. The default value of the max inactive interval is 30 minutes. Next concept. the application using the session object managed with the cookie fails if the cookies are denied by the browser. URL rewriting technique. If the user using the application has a chance of cleaning or denying the cookies, it is better to develop upon management of sessions using URL rewriting technique. To use URL rewriting technique, we must use response dot encode URL. I am going to pass some URL here. When response.encode URL method is executed, when the response.encode URL method is executed, session ID will be appended to the URL. Something. That's what I'm giving something. Something called as if we use this technique, the server will slightly take more amount of time to generate the output. But the application will not fail even if cookies are denied. If session ID is available, I am writing here to you guys to take this one. You're taking, right?
Yes.
If session ID is available as part of the URL and as part of the cookie, the web container uses one of these two. Next question is how the session objects are maintained at the server level. We can set the inactive interval using the two techniques. By providing the timeout value in the web.xml file, like this. And also we can set the timeout value using method, as we already covered that concept, called as set max inactive interval time. If we specify 2 minutes in this method, by calling set session.setMax interval is 120, this is 30 means 30 seconds. And if we specify 2 minutes means 120 seconds, 120 wait rate. Okay. For every cookie, there will be a path, domain, maximum age. If we create the cookie using the code, same thing. We can also make it as a if we create a cookie using the following code means this code. The browser is responsible for handling the cookie for just only 120 seconds. That means 2 minutes. The browser stores the cookie in the disk so that the cookie will be there even if we close the browser. Okay, I don't want to cover more concept on this again. Life cycle of a servlet. Very important content and last concept in the servlets. I create a servlet object. SRV1 com.ch and which implements. I don't want any extend here. I want implements. I don't want to do anything now. Click on next button. /SRV1. Click on finish. I want to implement interface. Servlet1 implements. Servlet interface or class. Sugana. Servlet is interface or class?
Servlet is an interface.
Okay. What are the methods of the servlet interface?
Create, destroy.
Create.
No.
No method also there. Create, destroy, no method. Okay. Again?
No, not those methods. Init method.
No method also there. Okay. So servlet is interface. We have 5 methods inside the servlet interface. So if a class implementing any servlet, I have to implement all the methods. This is the rule oops concept. So I am implementing all the methods, add unimplement methods, or else I should make it just abstract class. Okay. So I have two options. One is implementing all the unimplemented methods in the interface, or I should make it abstract class. I am implementing now. Click on implement. Very important. Everything is important. Everything is not important unless you won't practice. Clear, right? SRV1 implements servlet interface. I have method 1 this time method, get servlet config method, get servlet info method, init method, service method. According to the servlet specification, the web container is responsible for calling init method, service method, destroy method at various points of life cycle of the servlet. According to the servlet specification, the web container is responsible for calling init method, service method, destroy method at various points of the life cycle of the servlet. And these methods are called as, only these three methods are called as life cycle methods of the servlet and also life cycle of the servlet. When a client sends a request, see now here, I have a S1 object here, SRV1 here. So, sorry, in my web.xml file, what is there? SRV1. Okay, I am running the application. One more thing. Before that, I want to show you. This I logged in long back, right? I not touched it at all. If I click on something here, hello, guys, please. Hello, everybody is there?
Yes, Chaitanya, I'm there.
Everybody, Teju?
Yes,
Suguna?
yes, sir.
Yes. If you click on something here, automatically it will have you to different page called as login page. If I want to see my train again, okay. See here. Sorry, please try again. This is called as session. The session is inactive here. I'm not able to access it because we have set the methods, right? Internally, basically this application is developed by using Java, this IRCTC. Okay. It will navigate to login page again. So this is called a session. Clear, right? Yeah. So come back to life cycle of the methods. So SRV1, I in the application, I'm sending the request to the SRV1 and running the application here again. If I send a request / SRV1, we will see the console. Okay, or else we will send a request here only, so that we can see console. I am sending SRV1 here. Okay, in SRV1 we have init method, service method, desktop method, get servlet config, get servlet info. I am sending a request. What are the methods called here? Init method, service method. Okay, clear over? I am sending second request. What method is called? What method is called? Please see the output and answer it. Init method is called only first time only, one time request. Second time, init method is called one time, and after that the service method is called. Again, if you send second request, again it will call only service method.
Service method.
Now again I am sending one more request, one more request, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So only service method is executing, right?
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
If I close the browser,
Okay.
what has happened?
It will destroy.
It will call the destroy method.
Destroy method.
The web container is responsible for calling the servlet object. When a client sends a request, the web container is responsible for calling the servlet object. When the client sends a request, the web container is responsible for calling the servlet object. First point, calling init method after creating the servlet object, calling the service method whenever a client sends a request for the servlet. Calling the destroy method before destroying the servlet object, before removing the servlet object. there is a concept here in the web.xml file. So I'm just stopping the server. If you see the console, I am restarting the server. If you send a request, oh wait, what is this? Okay. So if you use a load on startup tag, inside the servlet tag, the web container will create the servlet object while starting the web app. The web container will create the servlet object while starting the web application. If you have not used the load on startup, the web container will create the servlet object when the client sends the first request. If you have not used the load on startup, the web container create the servlet object when the client sends the first request. If we replace a servlet class with a new class, the web container destroys the old object and creates a new object based on the new class. The servlet object will be removed by the container. Point number 1. When the application will stop, when a class is supplied with another class, when there is no memory to operate the web container, can destroy some of the existing servlet object and create the servlet object that a later point of time when a request sent to the servlet. Servlet technology is used as part of different types of servers. Servlet technology is used to Servlet technology is designed to be used as part of different types of servers. supporting various protocols supporting various protocols but today the technology is implemented in widely as part of HTTP protocols. Generic servlet contains code that is not specific to protocol, whereas HTTP servlet contains code that is specific to HTTP protocol. I have a SRv2 servlet, it extends HTTP servlet. Here I am going to write init method inside this method. We'll see what will happen. When the web container creates a servlet object, when web container creates a servlet object, see here, this is HTTP servlet class methods. When web container creates a servlet object, it calls the first init method. It calls the first init method. If our servlet SRv2 servlet no, sorry, strike out it. The web container calls the first init method. The JVM checks for first init method in SRv2 servlet. As the method is not available in first in servlet method, as the method is not available in SRv2 servlet, The JVM checks for the method in HttpServlet class. So HttpServlet class, any method is there as init method here? Any method is init method in HTTP class, HttpServlet class? Alright. The JVM checks for the first init method in our SRv2 servlet. It is not available in the SRv2 servlet. The JVM checks for the method in HttpServlet class. As the method is not available in HttpServlet class, the web container checks for HttpServlet internally extends generic servlet, right? So the web container checks for generic servlet class. The web container checks for generic servlet class. Then third point, the JVM start executing the first init method. There are two init methods are there here in generic servlet class. The JVM start executing the first init method available in generic servlet class. Fourth point, when the second init method is invoked by the first init method, if you see here, generic servlet Java. If you see here, doc jar, internally init method, under 15 minutes to take the class. See here, there is one init method is here which has servlet config as a parameter, and one more init method is there here. See here, public void init method throws servlet exception, and one more init method, public void init servlet config. Right. Fourth point, when the third point, the JVM start executing the first init method available in generic servlet class. When the second init method is invoked by the first init method, of a generic servlet, the JVM checks for second init method in our SRv2 servlet.
Can you repeat, Chaitanya?
Fourth point, when the second init method is invoked by the first init method of a generic servlet, the JVM checks for second init method in SRv2 servlet. As the method is not available in SRv2 servlet, the JVM execute the method. Sorry, as a method is available in SRv2 servlet, as a method is available here, we are provided here, right? Servlet config. Servlet config is nothing but second method here. Second method. As a method is available here in SRv2 servlet, the JVM execute the method in SRv2 servlet. Okay. The second init method considered to be much more convenient method. So if anybody asks into the point of view, how the code flow will start, you should start code flow by using like this. Okay. Or what will happen if I override the method? What will happen if I use init method in my servlet? What will happen if I use service method in my servlet? We always provide one methods, right? Called as service methods on one of the applications. One second, one more example. Last example. Service 3. I want to use service method. When a request is sent for a service 3 servlet, that is closed. That init method concept is done. When this is service method concept. When a request is sent for the service servlet, service 3 servlet, based on the service 3 servlet, the web container calls the first service method JVM start executing the first service method. Is any service method is available here? There are two methods are there right here. JVM start executing the first service method of HTTP servlet class. Point number 3. When the first service method of HTTP servlet class calls second service method, the JVM execute the second service method of a service 3 servlet. Okay. Next point. If we want a service 3 servlet or any other servlet to handle only GET request, then we can provide the doGET method as part of the our servlet class. To handle every type of request, we can implement second service method. That's it. So what we covered today, Suguna?